She's a winner.
And welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, where you take enlightened entrepreneurs, coaches, and influencers together to discuss cutting-edge topics in the world of relationships, culture, business, and spirituality. And here's your host, Miss Carol Boston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's version of the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show. I am so excited to be here today. For those of you who follow me on my Facebook Live show on Mondays, you know I'm dog sitting on the Intracoastal in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to do my best not to turn my head and look at all the big boats that are going by. Absolutely beautiful and brilliant weather. Now, those of you who've watched this show know I'm your weather girl. So when you chime in the comments, let me know where you're chiming in from and what the weather's like where you are. Now, we're streaming to my Facebook page. I sure hope we are, because I don't know, maybe my assistant could check my page and let me know, because I put the title in and I asked StreamYard to stream there. If you're new to StreamYard, please give StreamYard permission so that when you do comment and we have a dialogue and not a monologue, I can see who I'm speaking with. So I'm really excited for that. So Siobhan Coates, you said you were going to be here, honey. Let me know in the comments that you're here. Last week, we had an amazing coach here who helped people with PTSD. And unfortunately, I didn't hit the stream button, so not nearly as many people got to see it. But if you would like to, private message me, and we'll get you the link. You can go back and watch the show. She was very, very good and very enlightening. How many of us all deal with some form of PTSD? More of us do than don't. It's Wednesday. You know, people call it hump day. I don't know why they call it hump day, because everybody's trying to get through time fast. We're at the end of the month. It's January 31st. And I know they say, when they tell you when you're young and hurry up, and they say when you get older, time's going to go by faster. Well, here's the thing. Time doesn't go by faster. Time is time. We don't manage or control time. For me, I think as we get older, we begin to realize we have less time and there's more that we want to do. So it seems that it goes by so fast. I would love to know how you feel about that. Put that in the comments for me. And Aruba, if you could just check my Facebook page and let me know that we're streaming live, that would be awesome. Today, I entitled our talk, Faith versus Fear. Now, you guys know I am the queen of reframe. It says it right here. I'm also a leadership and sales empowerment coach. But today we're going to reframe overcoming adversity with acquiring prosperity. How many of you would rather acquire prosperity versus focusing on overcoming adversity? I often talk that we create as we speak, and often we are not even aware of the language that comes out of our mouths. One of my past clients, she's a lawyer. We successfully helped her triple her income 5 months in a row over the year before. But one of the things she had said to me during that time, and especially at the end when we were talking about what she had received of value, one of the things she said to me was, she had kind of had this sheepish grin on her face. She goes, you know, Carol, I got my degree in law at University of Miami, but before that, I got my undergrad degree in communication. And I said, yeah. And she said, my husband, my children, and my peers all will tell you that I'm a more effective communicator having worked with you than I was from getting a degree in communication. So we get to be really clear on how we speak. And if we're talking about overcoming adversity, we're focusing on what? What we don't have, right? If I just had the solution, if I just had the money, if I just had the job, if I just had the boyfriend or the girlfriend, we're focused on what we don't have. And what we focus on expands. It's true for everybody. That's how we make mountains out of molehills. Y'all have heard that saying, right? Put in the chat, let me know. You've heard that saying. We make mountains out of molehills. We think about it, talk about it, tell our friends. Think about it, talk about it, tell our spouse. Think about it. Oh my God, it becomes so big. What if our focus was on acquiring prosperity? That's going to be my focus in 2024. I wrote myself down some notes today because there's been a lot going on for me that I want to share. And today we're not talking about business. We don't talk about business every single time that we're here. And I think I shared on my other show the other day that I had a client a couple of years ago. She was in politics. She hired me to help her grow her business and her political career. And we'd been working together about 3 months, and I got this text. I still have it. And she said, "Thank you so much, Carol. I wanted to," it was a nighttime text, which surprised me. "Thank you so much, Carol. I wanted to let you know that you saved my marriage." What? She hired me for business and we saved her marriage. How did we do that? One of the ways was learning to come from a place of curiosity, asking empowering questions, and having effective communication with her wife. I have been so proud and honored that I worked with her this whole week. They've been traveling in Europe somewhere. They look so happy, taking pictures. They're doing a lot more traveling together, which was a desire of hers. So how we do anything is how we do everything. And we don't like looking at that. Sometimes I don't like looking at that. I'm like, oh, no, I'm much better over here. No. We get to own it, right? There's Siobhan, coach. She says, hello, Carol. Hello, Siobhan. Siobhan, we're talking right now about reframing overcoming adversity with acquiring prosperity. Let me know what you think about that and how that sounds to you. My focus is going to be on acquiring prosperity because what we focus on expands. Now, 2 days ago, I told my therapist I wanted a little bit more accountability. And one of the things I was committing to myself, and she's going to help hold me accountable, is no more watching the news or the weather in the morning on TV. Siobhan says, I love that reframe. Cool. And she said, well, you love the Weather Channel. I said, yeah, everybody knows I love the weather. I said, but I could be spending that time reading. I've got several books here that I want to read, reading and writing, studying. Oh, come on. You know, I'm not good at meditating, but I could get better. And one of the reasons I say that, Siobhan says, I never watch the news. I have no idea what is happening out there. Laugh out loud. I really don't watch much of the international major news, but I do like to see what's going on locally. And oftentimes in the morning, I'll flip back and forth between the Weather Channel, and I have my phone with me, and I have that game on there called Wordle. I love to play games like that do my brain. Like I love to do crossword puzzles, and I love to play Scrabble. But what happens invariably, and it doesn't matter if I wake up at 4 a.m. or if I wake up at 5:30 a.m., and I tell myself, I'm going to enjoy my coffee, and I'm going to watch the news and the weather for 30 minutes. And then I get busy playing Wordle while I'm watching, right? And then next thing I know, I'm there an hour or an hour and a half. So I get to ask myself, where else is that showing up in my life? Number one, that I'm not keeping my word to myself, because how we do anything is how we do everything. Where else am I not keeping my word? Because folks, every time we don't keep our word to ourselves, we erode self-trust. I'm smart enough to know that I get to ask for accountability. I have a coach for accountability for other stuff. I just wanted accountability for that. So I sent her a text yesterday, day one. Put it in my calendar, day one, no TV. Today's day two, no TV. And it's been interesting because I started this yesterday and I started in my reading. One of the books I'm rereading is The Go-Giver. If you haven't read The Go-Giver, we're talking about it on my other show. We're going to be talking about it a little bit here. Great book. It's an easy read. But I also get a lot of inspiration from who I listen to on TikTok. I listen to TikTok for inspiration and for music most of the time. Oh, look who's here. Tina Ezel's in the house. Kathleen Tyner's in the house. Hello, Tina. Hello, Kathleen. So glad to have all of you here. We're talking about faith versus fear today, and we're looking to reframe. Kathleen Tyner, you're going to like this one. We're going to reframe 2024. Not going to be overcoming adversity. We're going to do what? We're going to acquire prosperity. That's going to be an ongoing theme for me for this year. Tina says, hey, lady, so good to see you here. Tina's got a neat business on the side. Y'all might want to reach out to her if you're trying to stay in touch with your customers on a regular basis. She's got some cool things for you. Miss Kathleen, tell us what the weather's like in California, because we know it's beautiful out there most of the time. So how can we do that? It's about perspective. If you got a pen and paper, write this down. What I see is up to me. What I see is up to me. One of the reasons I love teaching and training on empowering questions is because they allow you to come from a place of curiosity. When we're asking these types of questions and we come from curiosity, we can get a clearer picture of the mind map that somebody else is looking through, right? You probably know this. You put 5 people on a street corner and there's a car wreck right in front of all 5 of those people. And the cops go to interview them and pretty much everybody saw something different. How is that? Because they were looking at it through their lens. My lens, I could see a wreck and go, holy crap, that was terrible. Because I've been in a bad car wreck. To this day, I still pay the price. 10 years, 11 years later. The person next to me may have never been in a car wreck, not even close, and they go, oh, that wasn't so bad. We watched the same thing. You get to ask yourself, what lens am I looking through? What is my perspective? You know, when we look at fear and people are afraid to step out, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being ridiculed, fear of being rejected, whatever it is, our faith is to our fear as weights are to our muscles, right? When we go to the gym, we lift weights that give resistance so that we do what? We build our muscle. That's what fear can do for our faith. Our fear and our faith are very similar. Think about it. Fear and faith both cause you to do what? Believe in something you can't see and something that hasn't happened. So what if our fear was just our faith turned in the wrong direction? And through our effective communication with ourselves, languaging, learning that we create as we speak, we just turned that back to faith. Kathleen Tyner says, it is in the 60s, sunny, partly cloudy and pleasant, big storm coming in the middle of the night. Hunker down. Don't let that storm get you. You're welcome, Tina. Happy to promote you and anybody else on here at any time. And oftentimes we what? We get addicted to the struggle. This overcoming adversity struggle. Battling the struggle is not going to help us win. What's going to help us is surrender. We get to surrender to this is what is without judgment, right? I made that decision. It didn't get me the result I wanted. I don't go, oh, that was dumb. Think about it. We don't want to talk to ourselves like that. I say, that didn't get me the result I wanted. What one thing could I do differently? And if I did that one thing differently, it would get me, boom, and I can put in the result that I'm looking for. You can do that too. You could write that question down. It could be about business, about your health, about relationships, about finances, about your children, whatever it is. We don't get free by struggling. We get free by surrender. One of the people I know that's very good at staying in that space and creating a safe space for people is Jeff Purdue Atkins, the Jedi. So good at being peaceful and staying in a peaceful state. Kathleen says that's a good point. People can become addicted to the struggle, addicted to the drama. You're so right. What I say sometimes when I'm giving talks or to my clients, I say, struggle is optional. Struggle is a habit. I struggle because I'm addicted to my story. So we get to figure out what story we're choosing to stay addicted to, because only when we own that we're choosing can we choose something different than what we're standing in our place of power. And I want everybody within the sound of my voice to have a powerful 2024. Kathleen says, willing submission rather than resignation. Exactly. And open to the possibility of choice. One of the people that I was listening to on TikTok yesterday is Pastor Michael Todd. I listened to him this morning too. I think he has a church in Chicago somewhere. He's a young guy. And I didn't go over all my notes that I took, but one of the things I really remembered from his talk is that God, you can call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. I call it God. God wants us not to stay focused on our weaknesses. How many of us stay focused on our weaknesses? God says, no. I want you to focus on your strengths, the gifts I've already given you. And I want you to continue to hone them and improve them. It is not for you to get satisfied where you are and say, I am good enough where I am. Those were God-given gifts that we get to improve upon. And so that's why it's so important to continue to invest in personal development or coaching or seminars or audiobooks or reading books. You get to continue to grow you. And he says, it's my job to strengthen your weaknesses or for me to show up in your weaknesses. Tina says, amen to that. Yep. And Kathleen says, making weaknesses into strengths. Exactly. And we get to do that. Once again, what? Only when we're on that we're choosing can we then make a different choice. Another powerful thing I heard, and if you want this link to this Mel Robbins podcast, I believe I'm looking at my tabs up here. There it is. It's still open. I listen to this podcast, and I'll be honest, I don't listen to audiobooks. I'd rather read and touch and feel and highlight and write. And I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, which is kind of interesting, right? Because I'm off the charts auditory. I'm highly auditory. That's my dominant learning language. But also on podcasts with something like Mel Robbins, she gets paid a lot of money, right? So she has a lot of commercials. And I can't fast forward through the commercials. Like I do with television. So that's a challenge. So I don't even remember the name. It's a Black female actress who, after being nominated for an award, finally got the award on her 5th time. And she goes in and she breaks down this talk. Now, what got me to listen to it, it was the title was something about, I don't know, 2 things, 3 things, whatever you can do to improve and strengthen your self-esteem. Well, a lot of my clients battle with self-esteem. I don't know everything. Let me see what I can learn. And so I listened to it. And I get to go back and listen to it again. And I'm probably going to bring some of that to some of my shows and talk about what I learned there. But one of the things that struck me, and this happens with my clients, number one, what? They don't want to pat themselves on the back. They don't want to celebrate all the good things that they're doing and accomplishing. That was just little Carol. That was no big deal. No. That's a stepping stone on where you're going. You get to celebrate that you got into action. You got results. Now you have something that you can manage because you have something that you can measure. Think about it. You can take that into your communication and your relationships. It doesn't have to be just business. You can measure growing results in your relationships with effective communication. One of the things that stuck out to me from this podcast, and I've been listening to Mel Robbins recently. One of the things that she says it's powerful to do every morning that she does now is she goes and she looks in the mirror and she says, what do you need from me today to feel loved? That's a writer-downer, folks. She says the person in the bathroom and the person in the mirror are not the same people. There's 2 people in the bathroom. Now I'm getting sidetracked to a whole nother podcast. Right? I'll come back to the self-esteem one. But who in here has ever done that? I haven't done that. We get to fill our cup first and give to others from our overflow, but we're not doing it. And so many of us were raised that we don't celebrate ourselves because, egotistical, braggart. Those are all just labels. If we are not willing to celebrate ourselves, what compels us to think that other people are going to celebrate us? Anyway, this Black actress with this long name that I've never heard of because I don't watch movies. One of the things she says in there, after she's talking about, she says she loves herself. And I celebrate the fact that after, being nominated 4 times and falling down on my knees and being rejected and told I'm not good enough for this film or that film, I celebrate the fact that I hung in there and I kept getting up every day and I kept doing it, even when I was down on my knees crying. And I believed in me. I believed in me when I didn't think anybody else did. She said, and that's why it's called self-esteem. It's not called them esteem. It's not called you esteem. So many of us are looking to get that feedback, from out there. We want somebody else to approve of us. Well, we get to approve of us first. I thought it was so powerful. I'm going to go back and listen, and I'm going to get her exact verbiage. She said, it's not they, them esteem, you esteem, it's self-esteem. And she said, you know why it's called self-esteem? It's because it don't matter if anybody else believes it but you. Are you willing to take a stand for you? Kathleen said, my mind went sci-fi on the mirror thing. Laugh out loud. Oh, another thing Mel Robbins advocates doing that she does, she gets in front of the mirror 5 times in the morning and she says, I think she's either 3 times or 5 times, she says, I love you. I love you. And she starts off with things that she really does love. I love your eyes because of this. I love this. Then she gives herself a high five in the mirror before she heads out. What does that mean? That means we've already been approved. We get to approve of ourselves. Siobhan Coates says, love me with an exclamation point. Exactly. Love me. So having said all that, I'm really excited. And my technical assistant here, who does such an amazing job, filled out a link yesterday. I start tomorrow in a 12-week program to do what? Hone my sales skills. No, come on, Carol. You spent almost 30 years very successfully in sales in corporate America. You teach and you train on sales. Yeah, you dang right. But I get to get better. And I get to learn new things. And it's called BANK. Actually, it's called Code Breaker, and the acronym BANK, BANK, inside of that. And I'm already excited because I've had 3 or 4 people fill out the link. I'm starting the training tomorrow. If I started talking about it, I would tell you more than I even know. So I'm just going to let you know that I'm excited to be improving my skill set, to be learning something new that has been proven. It has a patent on it. It's patented. So that you can understand why somebody buys in 90 seconds or less. Holy cow. Holy cow. It's going to help me. It's going to help my clients. It's proven very, very effective in the real estate industry. I know tons of realtors. Also in the direct sales industry. And I think it can be applied anywhere there's sales, just like I apply my empowering questions anywhere you're selling anything. Siobhan said, I said me, but I needed to hear love me. Love me. Carol, did I ever have you do a call with my husband, Jerry? No, you did not. I've heard a lot about Jerry. Never had a call with Jerry, right? Anyway, I'm going to be bringing you information on BANK. Now, most of the time on this particular podcast, I have guests, except for the first Wednesday of the month. And today was an exception. It's the last Wednesday of the month. So next week, I'm going to have a guest. I'm flipping it around. And his name is Coach Lee. Coach Lee Hopkins. You want to be here to hear Coach Lee. I've been invited to be a guest speaker, and I get to be the hot seat coach for the people that are coming to his event. I am so excited. He's got a free event coming up February 9, 10, and 11. And I'll be doing hot seat coaching on that Saturday on the 10th. You want to be there. I don't do a lot of things for free, right? I've been investing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in me to bring value to you and to the table for others. But Coach Lee has this amazing, soft, gentle demeanor. I can't wait to have him fill out my BANK link so that I'm really clear on what his dominant one is, his dominant code, because I catch myself, I'm excitable. I'm excited. I have energy. And I catch myself sometimes talking too fast. And then I get to wait because he's at a different pace. And that's good for me because then I get to slow down. Kathleen said, okay, he thought you had. Well, I hate to admit it, but if we had a call, at the moment, I don't remember. Maybe he could tell me when it was. I could go back and look at my calendar. Right now, I don't remember. Siobhan says, laugh out loud. I actually meant love Mel Robbins. You are saying, you know why I'm saying me for Mel? You know why? Don't have my glasses on. Now it looks just like Mel. This dang getting old for the birds, man. Siobhan says, love the brushing you are doing. The brushing. Am I brushing something? I have no idea. Oh my goodness. I'm going to look at my notes here. I had something else I wanted to say. Maybe I covered my notes. I want to inspire people, give them hope, right? Tenacity, but also get them into action. Siobhan says, and I'll put my glasses on to make sure I redirect. Siobhan's like, ha, 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 ha. I needed to hear that. Siobhan says, love the stuff you were doing. Oh my, we are a pair today. It wasn't brushing, it was the stuff. I'll tell you something funny. A neighbor across the hall from where I live, I told you I'm dog sitting these few days here. She had tripped and hurt her ankle. So I sent her a text the other night and said, how you doing? It was during the day. It was Monday during the day. And listening to how her ankle was. And she said, how are you doing? And I said, pretty good. Those of you who don't know, my father recently died, and the last 2 or 3 weeks have been a challenge. But I said, I'm having a pretty good day, and I'm focused. The two things I want to be today are focused and set my intention and stick to my intention. That's what I wanted to do. But you know how when you swipe on your phone and it automatically does something? It said, I'm focused and inebriated. Siobhan, can you believe I didn't send it? I've gotten to where I learned to check. Sometimes I used to swipe text and just send them. That would have been hysterical in the middle of the day. I'm focused and inebriated. I couldn't help myself. I thought that was funny. Kathleen says, laugh out loud. I don't think you did, but perhaps that can be arranged. Okay, let's chat about it. Kathleen says, you two are hilarious today. I'm telling you, right? We get to show up and learn and have fun, right? Learning can be fun. One of the things we get to remember is that what got us to the level that we are is not going to get us to the next level. Whether it's in your business, whether it's in your health, whether it's in your communication, whether it's in your relationships, right? In order to get to the next level, you get to do something different. Think of it as a video game. I don't do video games. I've seen the Mario thing where you go up the whatever, but you're always getting to do something different, something more to get to the next level. And people will stay focused on those games and play for hours and hours and hours and hours and what? To get off and say, I want a game, but they're not focused on their own personal development. They don't invest in themselves. If you're not willing to invest in you, who is? There's a question for you. Kathleen says, I'm sorry for not checking in on you. Carol, you've been on my mind. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm learning a lot. Oh my goodness. Learning a lot. Family, no family, distant family. Oh, I wasn't kidding when I said my dad was my whole family to me. My whole family. Put it in the chat if you got something of value today. Put the one thing you're going to take away today that you can get into action on. If you want that Mel Robbins podcast link, I'm telling you, it is not only funny, it is powerful how she breaks down this acceptance speech. And this woman, one of the things this woman does is what? She gave accolades to 4 or 5 other strong Black female actresses who are not being acknowledged by getting awards on stage. It isn't all about her. That was really cool. It wasn't all about her. Because we get to stop and think, where do I make it all about me? Because we all do it. Put it in the comments. Yana, you are not alone, Carol. Just put it in there. Yana, I know. We all do it. Siobhan said, I started that podcast today. You're going to love it. It's really, really good. For me, I have a hard time sitting there for 54 minutes when I have to keep going through commercials. My brain is like, that's not feeding my brain. So I get to learn patience so I can hear the whole thing, but I'm going to listen again. Who's coming back here next Wednesday, 3:00? Got to listen to Coach Lee Hopkins. Lee Hopkins. He goes by Coach Lee. He's doing great things in the world. And I hope he'll forgive me because I don't remember the name of his event. I really don't. This all just happened over the weekend, but I'm excited about it. February 9, 10, and 11. Come back next week. I'll be on my own Facebook page on Monday, Carol's Courage to Confidence Corner. Meet us there. And if you're someone who's looking to level up, nobody does it alone. Reach out to me. I've got 3 slots. I told you guys that to honor my friend Tracy, who recently passed away, and my dad, who passed away, that I'm going to take 5 women and I'm going to meet them where they're at. It doesn't mean I'm going to coach for free. You get to invest in you, but not at the level that my other clients invest. I've already filled up 2 of those slots. I actually have 2 calls tomorrow that I'm looking forward to. And if that's you, and you know that working with a good coach can help you get to where you want to go, you better DM me. Time is running out. Siobhan said, so sorry about your dad. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, because I love having a dialogue. I love getting feedback. Don't want it to be a monologue. If there's somebody you want me to bring on this show that you would like to hear, please don't say Mel Robbins. But if you do, then I get to be challenged as to how to get her here. Wouldn't that be awesome? I could ask empowering questions. Who do I know that knows somebody that knows Mel Robbins? That could, really? We could ask them empowering questions around that. Kathleen said, I'd like the link. I have learned to like myself, but it's finding the balance with humility. Too much arrogance and false pride in the world. I hope to catch you. We will be gone for the day, the 11th. I'm actually doing hot seat coaching on the 10th on that Saturday. So hopefully you can catch me on Saturday. I believe it is at 1:30 Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, I believe. We'll have all of that clarified next Wednesday when Coach Lee's on the show. Thank you, everybody. Oh, not only guests, if there's a topic you want me to cover on the days when I'm here, Ramon, if there's something that I teach and work with my private clients on, and say, Carol, can you just come talk to us about that? Private message me or put it in the comments. Let's make 2020 our year to acquire prosperity in all areas of our life. Kathleen said, I bet you can find someone who knows her, Carol. I might. I got a lot of connections. Love you guys. Thank you. Have a blessed week. Until next week, take care of you and then take care of others. Love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, brought to you by Life Coaching Today magazine, empowering your health, your business, your community, your life. Check out the latest issue today at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you